When you have a game like this where, you're in trouble all night long, but you're not giving into it, you're getting out of jams, you're, coming from behind, finding a way to take the lead. What kind of character building, if you want to put it that way, is it for your?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was growth. That's what I would call it. It was growth. I don't think it was the cleanest game on the mound for us, as witnessed by 8 walks, but we just talked to the team. The bad part of that was we put ourselves in a position where we really had to fight out of it. The good part of it was we fought out of it. So that's growth. But, we clearly don't want to be in that kind of thing often because you want to make the team earn it. We didn't do a real good job of making them earn their base runners. We gave up too many free bases tonight. So, but at the end of the day, when you can do that and still find a way to win by playing good defense and making the plays when you need to, that shows progress. Guys didn't get caught up in the emotion of the game and let that dictate how they made the next pitch or the next play. They were able to kind of recenter and get the job done when they really needed to.
Alex.
Hey, Coach, what can you say of Ethan's just continued poise in these high leverage situations?
Yeah, I mean, he's a tough dude. I mean, that's why he's there. We kind of, as you probably noticed, we went to the save inning in the 8th because our mindset was this is probably the save inning with the traffic. And either way, I will tell you, either way, whether we won or we lost, I was going to sleep better tonight and sleep comfortably tonight knowing that he's the guy at the back end, win or lose. So tonight, he got the job done. He's one of our most competitive individuals, regardless of age. And those are the guys you want in the back end. And he's got pretty good stuff too. So it's good to see him seize that closer role. Cause we've talked about that numerous times on these Zoom calls is like, who's the closer? We're not sure yet, but I think we got a pretty good idea right now who fits that for us.
Jacob.
Tracy, just a little more on Ethan Long. When did you kind of realize that he had the mentality to potentially step into that closer role for a freshman and just to come in and be mature enough to have that? When did you start to see that from him?
Well, I mean, we watched him, in the fall, and certainly inter squads leading up in the spring. But it's an interesting role. I mean, that's why those guys get paid a lot of money at the major league level to get those last 3 outs because it's not just stuff. And you'll see some guys at the major league level that don't have the best stuff, but they got a great mentality. I think he's a really, really good blend of that. But I would say really in practice, and if you recall going in this, we said the guys that really kind of fit that stuff, in fall and Cam Denny, and we mentioned Ethan, but I think the separator for him is just that mentality piece of it that he's not going to back down from anything.
Matt.
Hey, Tracy, you finally got a win on Friday. How important is it to get in the win column early this weekend against a team that you're going to see later down the line?
Yeah, well, I mean, we haven't had a Friday win in a year, right? So it feels good to do that. But, I don't put too much stock in we see them down the road because in baseball you got to have, and really in anything, you got to have a short memory. So we're going to feel good about this win against Utah for a little bit, and we got to refocus and get ready for tomorrow afternoon, first pitch. Because if you sit back and start thinking, you got everything figured out or life's good, this game has a way of being really, really cruel to you. So we're just happy to get out of here start the weekend on a good note, but we're taking nothing for granted, and we'll refocus and get ready for tomorrow.
Brandon.
In the 4th inning, Haas goes first to third on a single to left and Jump's able to take that extra base, follow that up with 2 productive at-bats to tie the game. Can you speak to the small ball execution in that inning?
Well, we should probably do, and I'm as guilty as anybody, so I'm not faulting you, but we ought to drop our little small ball verbiage, because what I'd call it is honestly it's good baseball. It's like the guys, and again, I'm not trying to be a smart aleck to you, but even I've heard that. Like, I think it's just your observation was great. Like, I think we're running the bases well. We're not right now. We don't have a lot of maturity on the offensive side of the team, So we have to do those little things well. We have to run the bases well. We have to take the next base when they throw to the wrong base and those types of things. So I'm going to move forward and not call it small ball. I'm going to call it good baseball. As long as we keep playing good baseball, you're going to put yourself in a chance to win, and you pitch it and play defense. And, particularly on a Friday night when we get into conference play, games are going to be like this. So I was really proud of our execution. I thought Seth Nager did a fantastic job as well, coming in there, sitting the entire game, knowing that his role right now is pinch running and defense, and coming in and doing a great job of his role. I think his was the second run and going first to third on the errant throw by the catcher, and then making a really nice play late in the ball game. So if we continue to do that, even though we don't have maybe some of the big offensive numbers of the guys we've had in the past, we're still going to have a chance to win every baseball game.
Alex.
What were your general thoughts on how Tyler looked tonight?
I liked his competitiveness, and we talk all the time, like, you're not going to have your best stuff or the best results or whatever all the time, but as long as you're competing, I don't have an issue with that. Now, just from a, statistical or whatever, he didn't have a good, to me, didn't have a good night, because I go back to the tactical piece of that. The pitch count was too high for a Friday night. We got to be able to get a little bit deeper in the game, particularly opening up a weekend, simply because, you want to keep that bullpen intact. So I loved his competitiveness. I really liked how he competed on the mound, but he wasn't particularly sharp, in my opinion.
Jacob.
You mentioned the pitch count and then having to pull him after 4 innings tonight. What does that do for you guys in a weekend where you are with your first weekend without Boyd and you don't have Cooper, and you're going to have to kind of dip into the bullpen a little more potentially on Sunday? How much of a challenge is that when the start on Friday night goes the way it did?
Well, it adds another layer. But that goes back to, we're going to have some guys step up anyway. So, from a managerial standpoint, or, JK, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but it forces our hand a little bit, because we're going to have to spell some of these guys that pitched, tonight. We used a lot of our bullpen tonight. So it's a wonderful opportunity for some new guys to get out there and go grab some roles, because we're going to have 2 or 3 guys come along if we're going to have the ability to close that gap and losing those innings on the weekend with Cooper and Boyd. But we've said we feel like we've got them. It's just the circumstances of the game haven't made it real easy for us to put them in. But now, this probably forces our hand a little bit tomorrow, because we're going to have to rest some of these guys that we've been using a lot.
Jeff.
You talked about winning on Friday for the first time in a year. Well, it's also the first time you've had fans.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? And do you think it had any impact just in encouraging your team? And then also, could you comment on them not trying to score there on that fly ball in the 8th inning? Did that surprise you at all that they didn't go ahead and try to score?
Well, the question on the fans, I think it's nice when you look out there and you see people in the seats, and I think guys like playing in front of people. I would say most people do. Volume wise, I think we can turn it up a little bit. We can still try to aspire to get a little noise in the stadium. And then the other part with the Kai, I wish they would have sent him, because he would have been out by a long way. But that's one of those, I've been a third base coach and I've done that. It's a tough call on that shallow fly ball. And, I do believe if they send him there, I think he's probably out by 10 feet, but I'm glad they didn't send him. So.
Alex.
Nate hit the ball hard a few times tonight, and the hits haven't really been falling earlier on. But what has been your assessment of how he's looked early in the season and how he looked tonight?
Yeah, slow start for him, clearly, the first couple weekends. But, we said he's going to be a key guy for us. We need to have his production, his power, and maturity. I say maturity, redshirt freshman maturity in the middle of the lineup. But Nate's a good hitter. He had a good fall for us. He had a good spring coming in, slow start. We just wanted him to take a step back and watch the game a little bit, slow it down, stop pressing. I think he's done a really good job of putting in the work. Coach Mike Early over the last few weeks of just, every time I'm in the cage, I see those guys working, and he wants to get out of this thing. So it's good to see him put together some really good at bats, because we're going to need that dude as we advance through the rest of the season.
Jacob.
Kai kind of commented on this a couple minutes ago, just about the team's ability to capitalize on mistakes. And it's happened a couple times in the last few games where your opponent has done something and then you guys kind of help them unravel a little bit by just being persistent at the plate. What does that say about the offense right now? And especially even when they might be struggling to put runs on the board sometimes, but to be able to consistently do that, how important?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're scratching the surface on that, because we're still giving away, and it's just guys' lack of experience. We're still giving away a lot of at-bats, swinging at pitches we shouldn't be swinging at. But again, the aggressive nature in it, I appreciate some of that, but it's just these guys need to get at-bats and understand and grow as hitters and understand how people are trying to get you out. But as you said, it doesn't always have to be with the stick in your hand. You can still do it by making good decisions on the bases, when to take the extra base and put pressure on the defense, which we've done. And fortunately, while we're not scoring a bunch of runs, our pitching has done a good job of holding the opposition down and giving us a chance to win, even though it's limited runs. So I don't want to say that, that's probably our formula for the rest of the season. It may be, it may not. But if you pitch and play defense and you can stick in those timely hits, I think we're going to mature as the season goes offensively. But, it certainly is a learning process, as we're all witnessing right now.